Born in 1893, Shaoxing, China, Mao Zedong became a founding member of the Chinese Communist Party while working as a Peking University librarian and spearheading the Autumn Harvest Uprising in 1927, when he led a small army of peasants against their landlords in Hunan province. During an on-again, off-again civil war between the reigning Chinese Nationalist Party and the reform-driven Communist Party of China, Mao rose to cult status preeminence during what became known as the Long March, which was a series of retreats by his Red Army forces from the pursuing National Army, covering some 5,600 miles in 370 days. When China's civil war resumed after Japan's surrender following the Second Sino-Japanese War, Mao's forces defeated the nationalist government, forming the People's Republic of China, or PRC, on October 1, 1949, which began his Marxist-Leninist single-party rule until his death in 1976. Over the coming years, Mao solidified his power through his Chinese land reform initiatives against landlords, his campaign to suppress counter-revolutionaries initiative, and his 3 anti and 5 anti campaigns, which were a series of reforms designed to rid Chinese cities of corruption and enemies of the state. From 1953 to 1958, Mao drafted the first constitution of the PRC, at the same time strengthening China's nuclear arsenal, which further drove a wedge in China's relationship with the Soviet Union. From 1958 to early 1960, Mao launched his Great Leap Forward campaign, which steered China away from an agriculturally based society towards an industrialized state, leading to the deadliest famine in recorded human history, which resulted in the deaths of 15 to 55 million people between 1958 and 1962. After launching his socialist education movement, or 4 cleanups, in 1963, intended to cleanse politics, the economy, internal organization, and communist ideology, in 1966, Mao initiated China's 10-year Cultural Revolution, which was marked by violent class struggles, the widespread destruction of cultural artifacts and Chinese heritage, the persecution of tens of millions of upper-class or bourgeois Chinese, with death tolls ranging from hundreds of thousands to many millions. Following years of declining health, Mao suffered a series of heart attacks in 1976, which ended the Cultural Revolution upon his death at age 82, making Mao Zedong one of the most impactful world leaders of the 20th century.
1985 was the beginning of changes in the Soviet Union that led to its breakup. A new president was elected, Mikhail Gorbachev. Gorbachev faced a lot of economic and political problems, especially political tensions with China and other Soviet republics. He started establishing closer relations with the United States and reformed political life to democratize the Communist Party. The presidents of the 2 superpowers met at the Geneva Summit in 1985 to discuss nuclear disarmament. They signed the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty in 1987, an agreement to eliminate intermediate range and shorter range missiles. In 2019, President Donald Trump withdrew unilaterally from this treaty, and 3 weeks later, the United States started testing this medium-range missile.
President Donald Trump says his country will exit the Intermediate-Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. Trump was speaking to reporters after attending a rally in the U.S. state of Nevada. He accused Russia of violating the document, but without providing any evidence.
Yeah, we'll have to develop those weapons. Unless Russia comes to us and China comes to us and they all come to us and they say, let's really get smart and let's none of us develop those weapons. But if Russia's doing it and if China's doing it and we're adhering to the agreement, that's unacceptable.
Next step, easing tension between the 2 superpowers, was the signing of the START I treaty. It was in 1991, and it had the aim to reduce the number of intercontinental nuclear missiles. Also, other events were key to end the Cold War. Soviet troops withdrew from Afghanistan, The Berlin Wall came down in November 1989, and the next year Germany was reunified. The Warsaw Pact was dissolved in 1991, and finally the USSR broke up in 1991. On 25th December 1991, Mikhail Gorbachev resigned as president of the Soviet Union. It was the end of the Cold War.
Я покидаю свой пост с тревогой, но и с надеждой, с верой в вас, в вашу мудрость.
After the Cold War, there was one winner, of course, the United States. They became the only one superpower. Nowadays, although the United States is the first superpower, is the first economy and the first military force in the earth, there is a multipolar world. Are our current world leaders, able to maintain peace?